Welcome to Hammerspace Recording. My name is Troy Neberbarn. Today we are having a look at the Syn20IR Legacy module. Welcome back for another video, everybody. Today in the Syn20IR, we have the VIR Legacy module. This is the Steve Vai signature model, which is most importantly green. I believe I played the Carbon Legacy amp like kind of a long time ago. There was a shop that used to stock a lot of Carbon equipment in Perth, and there was a period of time when it was like maybe a little bit more affordable than some of the other higher gain alternatives out there. So I went through a bit of a Carbon phase, V3 and that sort of stuff. But it's been a little while since I've been able to try the real head. I do have vague memories of what that sounded like. And obviously, we've all been through a Steve Vai phase at some point in our lives. For me, it was probably April of 2003 was the first time I heard For the Love of God, and kind of set me off on a path of shred for the next couple of years. Like always, what we're going to do is reamp some tones from my Gibson Les Paul Standard with Bareknuckle cold sweats through my Undertone audio GB tracker reamp box into the Syn20IR, into a Marshall 4x12 with vintage 30 speakers mic'd with a single SM57. So we'll play some sounds and twist some knobs and come back and have a chat. All right, the Vi Legacy module. I would say of all the modules that I've got here to demo, this was not one that was at the top of my priority list. As I said, I went through a Steve Vai phase a long time ago, but it's been a little while since I've been like into his playing. But not only that, like what I associate with the Steve Vai sound, like that fluid lead playing, it's just not really the sort of thing I do anymore. I'm more into just playing, you know, open chords with a bit of distortion or maybe some stuff in drop D. I would say the more that I've played it, this might be in the top 5 modules from Synergy that I've played. It's certainly got one of the more unique characters to it, and I don't think that was represented in the reamp section, to be completely honest. I do have a little bit of delay in Pro Tools. I might flick that on so we can have a little bit of a testaroo. Now, obviously, we're not using the Gibson Les Paul. That was just purely for the reamp section. This is my Shure standard, Koa standard, with the Doug Aldrich bridge pickup, and then the MLs in the neck and middle position. Man, playing lead. Like, I don't know if I've ever played another amp sound that has felt kind of like that. It's not I think I said this before about another module. It's maybe not an everyday driver for me, or tone, but it like sustains and sings, and after you pick a note, there's more stuff that happens. And let me see if I can describe that slightly better. Like sometimes when you're playing through an amp or a pedal or whatever it is, it's like the tone is in the attack. The character of the amp is in the attack. To me, this amp, it's like the character is in the sustain. Like you can hold on to a note. And it's like you can feel it change and grow as the note is holding on, which is really cool and inspiring to play. And it's particularly with a little bit of delay on there where you're not working as hard for the note. Like there's a lot of distortion on this. There's a lot of potential for distortion, but it's not a harsh sound. It's really smooth and clear and just sustaining. Like it's really, I don't know what word to use. Like buttery, do people use that? I know they use that for amps, so I feel like that's more in a cleaner sort of setting, but man, this just feels so easy to play. So if you'll allow me to butcher for the love of God for a second. Can't remember the next, but I know just that one little bit. Like, man, it just hangs on. And it's weird. It's like, I know this is impossible, but it almost makes me feel like I'm playing cleaner. Like my playing feels cleaner because I guess I'm not attacking the guitar as hard. It's a pretty different module like that. And not a tone that I've had with any of the other Synergy modules that I've demoed so far. It's like, it's really, really unique. What I have it set to at the moment is uncharacteristically in structure switch B, which I haven't really liked as much on some of the other modules. Let's just kick it through and have a listen through ABC, and I'll turn the delay off while I do this as well. A. B. C. A. B. C. C and A are like we've always discussed with any other module, like it's kind of darker to brighter to more attacky, or darker on C to brighter and more attacky on A. And B just seems to, there's just something that kind of magic, like when I hit that button where what was not quite working with the other, like the clarity came back, the attack came back, but it also still felt kind of spongy. It's like it felt really perfect in that position for what I liked with this sound. And that was for playing leads and also playing rhythm stuff. So The reactance knob on this it's kind of like it always is. I like just having it in the middle. I'm enjoying having it in the middle at the moment, but it's always there to add a little bit more sparkle on top if you need it. So I think for rhythm sound, I'd probably like to have the bright switch on. Here it just opens up the top end a little bit more, makes it a little bit clearer, but it doesn't, I mean, it's a simple switch rather than messing with your EQ controls. For lead playing, that extra bitiness is probably going to make the tone maybe a little less fluid, but you get a little bit more attack on the note if you need pick attack and that sort of thing. I'd say the boost on this adds quite a lot of gain. So depending on how you're running it, depending on how you're using it, you'd have to be a little bit careful. It's not so obnoxious where you couldn't get away with it, but I think if you're playing like certain types of metal or anything where you just need that tightness and a bit more bitiness, you'd probably either leave the boost off or maybe choose to run it with a tube screamer or something in front of it just to tighten it up a little bit. So before we move on to the other channel, I want to shout out one feature of this module that I kind of wish was on some of the other Syn20IR modules. I really like the stepped pots. This is just a preference thing, I suppose, but I mean, maybe you can see as I turn the treble control, it is jumping up by like a millimeter at a time or half a millimeter, whatever it is. Some of the Syn20IR modules, because of the sweep of the pots, it can be really easy to just nudge that knob and quite drastically change the sound. If this was, I mean, you're probably not going to put it in your gig bag, but if you had a module like this on stage or transporting it, it would take a little bit more force to shift the knobs, and so you're likely to pull it out and it's going to be in a similar position as to where you want it. I think it feels pretty good, and that's all of this. The knobs on this have the stepped pots on them. I actually quite like these knobs too. Like they're different on this. I don't think there's any Syn20IR modules I've tried that have had different knobs on them from memory. Maybe the Soldano SLO2 module, but I'd have to go back and check that. Last thing to talk about this red channel before we swap to the blue is I would say that this module has way more active EQs than on some of the other modules I've tried. I believe like the Metroplex module and the Savage Red channel, the red channel and the Savage module, you could really sculpt that tone depending on where you set these two. But you heard in the reamp, like if I turn that bass all the way down, it's really thin. And if I go from half to all the way up, that adds a lot of thickness and a lot of weight and a lot of meat to the tone. And there haven't been a lot of modules that have done that. And that is pretty much the same for all of the EQ controls on this. I said earlier, I don't think that the reamp section really does this module justice. And partly that's because I have some pre-recorded sounds that make it easy for me, that I know the riffs and I know how they have interacted with other modules. So I like to run those through every module that I get so that I've got, to my ears at least, some form of consistency. Even though it's not the exact same part every time, it's the same ones I've used for quite a few videos. What I don't really have ready to go is something clean. And so I think when I demonstrated the blue channel in the reamp section, it just felt a little too gainy. Like this is the bridge pickup on this guitar. I don't know if that's the sort of tone that you would go to this module for. However, if we go to the single coil sound in this guitar, it's quite a nice, chimey, clear sound. At the moment, the switches aren't on. Gain is just being run at halfway. So we'll do a little bit of twisting and see what it sounds like. Let's just run the clean channel down really low. And I'll compensate by raising the channel volume. It's hard to tell back to back, but I don't feel like that tone has changed that much depending on where that gain is set to, like between there at 9 o'clock and at 12 o'clock. If I put the gain back to 12, and I'll compensate by bringing this down. Maybe a hair more broken up, but not much to write home about. It's still just a really nice, clean, clear, chimey sound. Something that I noticed about this module, having a jam before I started filming today, was there is, like, I'm really conscious about what I think of as like an ice pick sound in clean tones, where it's just like, if I was to think of it in audio recording terms, I see waveforms with like lots of spikes on them. When I'm playing clean sounds live and when I'm playing clean sounds in the studio, I often have to deal with that spikiness in some way with compression or saturation. And weirdly enough, with this module, despite feeling and sounding quite clean, I don't get a sense like I'm going to have a stray like note or chord come out that's going to feel like a ice pick in my brain. Like, I don't think it's got compression built into the module, but as I'm strumming those chords, everything still feels really balanced and really clear. And that's not something I was really expecting from this module. The EQ controls on the clean module maybe not as exaggerated as what we found on the red channel, but still very easy way to sculpt a tone. I actually preferred this in structure switch B as well. Go back to A and C. Yeah, B feels pretty good. It's nice to know that that little bit of extra brightness, we want to take it off, we can get it really easy with the treble control. And I'm probably leaning towards that knob than maybe the reactance or the structure switches. And that feels really good. I really liked the fat switch on this clean sound too. It just feels really, really balanced. Let's kick the bright on. I'd say with this guitar, that bright isn't super necessary, but now that the fat switch is on, I might just wind up the treble a bit. If we were to throw things like delay on top of that, that's a really great, I know people hate pedal platform, but that is a great platform for effects and for just having a clean sound that will work in amongst other sounds without taking over too much. And once again, it's however this module's been designed, it feels really dynamically balanced, where without having any compressor pedals or anything like that, the clean sound with those delay effects just feel really clear no matter where I'm playing. So yeah, really, really quite happy with that clean tone. So that was the Vi Legacy module for the Synergy system. Once again, this was a huge, huge surprise module for me. It was not one that I was particularly looking forward to trying. Not one that when I sat down to do it, I thought would be that interesting. And it's jumped up the list to me as probably one of my favorite modules, and not just because it's green. So, big shout out to Steve Vai for, does Steve Vai need a shout out? I think we all understand his legacy, so to speak, and he knows how to pull a good guitar sound. So yeah, great job. Great job, Steve Vai, on this module. I'm going to leave it there for today. Thank you very much for checking out another video. If you haven't done so far, please like the channel. No, please subscribe to the channel. like the channel as well, but also like the video. And find me on hammerspacerecording.com or Instagram at Hammerspace Recording. And yeah, I will see you on the next video.